welcome to a new video, you guys. Today we are going to be building a library, but not just any library. We are building a library for the new expansion pack. That's right, I was asked by The Sims, I was very lucky to be asked by The Sims to build a library that will actually ship with the pack. So if you guys end up getting the pack, then you'll actually see this in your game and you guys can use it and do whatever you like with it. I'm going to be showing you guys the development behind the scenes of creating it, and I also was asked to do two other builds with this project. The other one was a residential home and also a holiday rental home. So keep an eye out for those videos and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll link them in the description down below. Just so you guys know, I will be showing very early builds of The Sims 4. It is not what the final game looks like. It is not what the final expansion pack looks like. It's just very early days of it being developed, and I think it's quite interesting to see. So the library lot is kind of in the middle of this town square, I guess. It is right near a cinema that looks kind of industrial. You might see it in the background, and actually the background and the surroundings of this lot are looking a little bit more stripped back and a bit more blocky than what it will look like when the pack's ready to ship. So it's kind of interesting to see what things look like at the beginning and how they change over time. That's one of my most favorite bits about working on this, was just kind of noticing the world around me change a little bit with every build that we got to work with. So starting with the initial shape of the library, I had this idea of having these kind of bridges of corridors going across the second level, and I wanted to put glass windows along them. So they were like glass bridges. The idea was this might have been like two old warehouses that are being joined to create this big library. And I was inspired by a few libraries that I saw online that have been converted into a library from an old warehouse in real life. So that's where the inspiration came from. And of course, the cinema that kind of looks industrial in the background of the world, I was also inspired by that. And if I remember correctly, I think the Sims team had said, look, we're going to have this industrial building nearby. If you are inspired by that, go for it. So, you know, I love anything industrial, so I definitely utilized that. I also had these big glass portions of the roof, and although I really liked that, as we move along in this build and I go through the development of the build, I ended up reducing them to look what I felt like to be a bit more realistic and a little bit more tailored. So they'll turn into more of like a skylight looking roof. When you're building a lot for The Sims 4 to ship with a game, you have to be really mindful of how the lot performs, or its performance. And what that means is every lot kind of has a numbered score with performance of how well it could run or how efficiently it could run when players are using the build, and if it can run really well on like a low-end machine as well as a high-end machine. So to keep the performance in check on these lots, and especially on a community lot where there's going to be a lot of memory being used because there's going to be Sims loading onto it, there's going to be lots going on, you really want to make sure that you keep that performance, you know, within the threshold, so that if someone is playing on a lower end machine, it will be able to load well. One of the easiest ways to make it perform better is to minimize how many objects you use, how many different kinds of wallpapers you use. The more wallpapers you use, the more it's going to contribute to that performance number. This lot in some ways is very simple, but I also wanted to keep it looking interesting and inviting for Simmers to enjoy taking their Sims to. Like, I want you to want to take your Sims here. And I had this kind of concept of the library being, I guess, split into different color-coded areas. So the idea being, say if this existed in real life, someone could look at the map who might not be able to read, or like a kid could look at the map and they would be able to figure out where to go by the color. Orange might be a study area, purple might be reading library, blue might be a parents area, and that way it would be more accessible to people. Kind of brought that idea into the game, and we're going to use a lot of the bright, vibrant colors to create it. And I was also very inspired by seeing some of the new items for the library as well. There were some really bright, bold colors within the library shelves that they've created for this pack, which we'll see in a little while. And they have like great, big, colorful shapes on them. They look very child-friendly. And I thought, you know what? That is so cool. I'm gonna make this library colorful. And that's kind of how it all began. We do get to see a few of the item concepts before we build or as we build. So even if those items aren't in the game yet, because they kind of, more of the items come in over time as you're building. They're not all there when you start on the project. As they started coming in more, I was really excited to use them, but I also had kind of an idea of what they might look like from some descriptions the Sims had shared with me. These are all placeholder furnishings, so the bookshelves are going to be different bookshelves. I just used base game ones as placeholders. The same thing with the round table. I knew we'd have some kind of round table coming. The chairs, I thought we could probably use those chairs, but I was also hoping there might be newer ones too, which do end up coming along. So you've just got to kind of see a lot of this as placeholder, and we're just kind of creating the structure, the layout, the general vibe of the place. I did have this fence in my game, and I was really excited to use this for a kids area. So green right now is our kids area theme. I was just really feeling the green that day, so I thought, let's go green. And I know the colors might not be for everyone, but I did think it was just something a little bit different, a little bit fun, in a simple way that can still keep the performance down on the lot, but can make it look a little bit more interesting without adding like lots of objects and clutter everywhere. This is a study nook. You'll also see in the buy catalog, sometimes there'll be like yellow looking items, and the items are yellow renders because they're not a complete object yet. So sometimes you'll see that, and that just means the item's not ready yet. But of course, if you choose to get this pack at some stage, don't worry, those items will be ready. This is just early development stuff. I really like how you can kind of look over the balustrade and you can see people coming in and out of this library. It's very open, very fresh. And in some ways, I guess in real life, it could be really loud, but then people are usually really respectful and quiet in libraries, so maybe that's fine. It has great acoustics, okay? And then I was trying to figure out like which colors go where. Do we have purple for the chess area, gray for the walkways? And these colors do change a little bit over time. I feel like I could have, you know, stuck with this exact color combination, but I think in the end, I ended up making it less like clown colors, I guess. I minimized the colors just a little bit. I mean, I love a bit of clown color. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just felt like I wanted to make it a little more restricted in the color palette. Oh, and also thinking about performance, I was reducing how many different wallpapers and colors I was using as well. I thought about maybe having this purple sitting area, but in the end I was like, I don't know, there might be more items we can put here, newer items, and there is some new items that we end up putting there. There's these fantastic displays of like paintings and drawings and kids' artwork, and I thought, oh, that's so perfect for the library. This is the next phase or the next build of the game that I got where we did actually have the shelves available to build within the game. So previously we used base game shelves, and now that we've had our builds of the game updated, we can start seeing some of the new items, and these shelves were so cool. Now, I did also request the Sims team if it would be possible to have some of these shelves as plain shelves without the shapes on them, because I felt like the shapes are really great. I've seen them in real life in libraries, and kids can like curl up in them, read a book, you can use them as shelves. But I did feel like it's a lot if every single shelf has a shape on it. And yeah, I requested if it would be possible to get any just plain library shelves. And I didn't think they were able to do it, but at the very end, they actually made the shelves. So I am very excited to let you guys know there will be plain versions of these shelves as well. And what's particularly fantastic about that is I am always looking for plain shelves to put in my houses, and especially like repetitive, simple ones, thinner ones, and that's exactly what these are. So get excited for those, I can't wait. The curved ends are a really nice addition too, that they kind of curve into the wall. I thought that was nice. I love the round tables that I had expected would be in the game, and they did come in this build, so that was exciting to like place them and see what they were like. And yeah, there's lots of reading areas, there's the study room area, the kids area, and we're also going to be making a parents room because I can't remember if The Sims asked me to or if I just kind of made it. In any case, a parent room makes sense in a library because it is a very family-friendly space, and the fact that this pack is focused on families and generations, I just felt like we need a parents room so infants can have a change table. The bathroom's gonna have a potty in it. And yeah, it's just a very family-friendly lot. So hopefully if you do take your Sims here, there'll be plenty of stuff for them to do and everyone can be happy. And by all means, if you do end up playing on this lot when the game comes out, I would love to see any pictures of your Sims having fun there, or even if you renovate it, even if you completely change it, I love seeing pictures and updates about all of that stuff. So feel free to Instagram, DM me or tweet me or whatever, or just let me know in the comments. That's always really cool. They have these really interesting desks, lots of vibrant colors, which is lots and lots of fun. And I was just kind of figuring out what kind of desks do I want to use? How do we want to plan this place out? It's all about just making lots and lots of changes over time, letting the Sims know what it looks like, communicating with them. And they're really great. They do just really encourage creativity and you keeping within your own style as a creator. So it's a really enjoyable collaboration. And I felt like the feedback they gave me was just really practical, gameplay oriented stuff, such as making sure Sims can route around the objects or utilize the objects. So pretty much just Deli gone wild with a library build. So been really enjoying it. And how cool is that mobile above the table? I thought that was really nice too, and that'll look great in some bedrooms. And I love these decals. They're so cute. They look like real library decals. This book that kind of opens up to that scene is really pretty. The sloths, I think they're sloths. So cute. Oh, and here you can see the pictures in the middle of the hallway that I was telling you guys about before. I think they're really sweet too. And I actually think it's gonna be one of those objects that becomes really, really handy to have on lots of different lots, or if you want to make an art studio in your kids' room or something, that'll be nice. Lots of versatile objects in this pack, and it's a nice blend of contemporary objects with more wholesome traditional objects as well. It's a bit of a mix of the old and the new, which is really quite reflective of a pack being about all ages, the old and the new and the middle-aged. We've got a little chess area over here. Being a library and a community lot, there were a certain number of objects that you have to have in order for the lot to qualify as being a library. So we've got the 2 chess tables there that are required, or maybe it's just one that's required. But in any case, I thought 2 was nice to have, some bookshelves around there. And it's really all coming together now. I also like that there's some benches to sit on outside and the landscaping's very simple. This is the parents' room that I was telling you guys about. I love that little wall baby change station, infant change station, and also the play mat on the ground. The bin, I believe, might be to put a diaper in when you're changing. So that goes nicely next to it. I actually think that might lock into it might lock into the object when you place it. There's just a nice big couch, coffee table, and there's even a coffee area because parents need coffee. I need coffee. I am a parent of my dog and I need coffee. I need coffee anyway. Another thing that I was really hoping to get was a sign for the library, a nice big sign to put on the outside of it. And Kayla, little Simsy, was doing the rec center for this pack, and Kayla requested a sign for the rec center, and then I requested a sign for the library, and then they actually did make us signs to put on the lots, which was really awesome. They did take a lot of our feedback and work with it, which was so cool. They made the bathroom tiles to match the bathroom wallpaper that I had requested to see if they could do, and then another one was they made the shelves. They also made for a more mid-century modern looking shelf that I use in my residential home build, if you've watched that. They made an additional shelf. So instead of having the same shelf repeated, you can have a shelf and a different version of the shelf with different books and things on it side by side. And I can't believe they actually take the feedback and add them into the game, even when at the point when we're building, they've probably, planned a lot of it already. It's just, it was really, really nice that they could take those ideas on board and actually produce something. So I was very grateful for that, and I hope that pleases a lot of the players as well. Love this coffee area. Some feedback I did get from the Sims team was perhaps if the coffee area could be a little bit bigger so the Sims can access it more easily. So that's an example of some really good practical feedback for players. So here we are adjusting the roofline. So the big glass portions we've reduced into more of a skylight look. And I think this looks a little bit more tailored, a little bit more realistic. And I just prefer this a lot more. And then I'm just adding, details such as roof trims. We've expanded the coffee area. The Sims gave me some feedback to expand it, so that was really helpful. And I'm not allowed to use move objects or the Alt key when building, which means I can't move items off the grid. So I'm also restricted in that sense. Now we're gonna walk through the build, see what it looks like. And I actually filmed this on the last day of actually having the build and right before I sent it off the Sims. And the next time I will see this is actually in the game. Today is the last day we get to look at the library. It is fully finished and there's no more changes that can be made. It's being sent to the Sims and then the ball is in their court. They may make some minor changes for whatever reason, maybe performance, and that's okay. I just really hope that when it does get put in the final game and when the game is launched that you guys like it. And lots of people enjoy using it. Because when you build a community lot, I feel like people are less likely to build community lots. They're more likely to use this a lot. So yeah, hopefully people like it. Let's check it out. So when we first started designing this library, we wanted it to kind of complement this lot over here, which is like an industrial looking cinema. So this needed to be kind of industrial looking as well, but then I wanted to include some modern elements because I knew that they wanted this house over here that I built to be modern. So it's kind of trying to tie in between industrial, modern, and also the pitched roofs kind of tie in, or the pitch dark roofs tie in with these buildings over here. The world looks beautiful. I really love this fountain. It's turned out really cool. So let's take a look. One thing that I really love about this library is that I was able to get a sign for the library. Both Kayla and I were assigned community lots, and we both requested if there could be signs made for the lots, and the Sims said they could do that. So that is really exciting, and I feel like this is going to be a very useful item for builders building any community lot. So this is what it looks like. I think it's simple enough to just be easy to play within, but at the same time, it's a little bit creative and it's got a little bit of character because it's got a lot of color in it. So it's got double ceiling roofs, which are pretty common with a lot of real life community lots. It's big, it can handle a lot of traffic. So when you walk in, we've got some nice community artworks. I feel like libraries always have, artwork by the community. Just to the left here, this is a parent's room, very handy. So you can go in here with your newborn, sit down, read a book. There's also a change table here you can use. And I love this little coffee area because I'm a fan of coffee. So I feel like parents need coffee, right? Down here we have a bathroom. This bathroom's really cool because it uses the new tiles and wall tiles, which I love. The toilets also include a potty, very cool. And then there's just a regular toilet in here. We keep roaming around. We have computer study nook here. Of course, we couldn't go wild with items because of performance on this lot. We can't load it up with too many objects. But I think color helps fill in that space. A red area up here, more of a study nook. You can look across into this study room. You can walk down the corridors. And down here, we actually got to use some different shelves. These square shelves, I think were one of my requests early on because they just had them with the kids' shapes in them, and I said, would it be possible to take those shapes out? And I didn't think they would be able to do that, but they did in the end. So hopefully that's going to be a really useful shelf for also just homes to have a built-in shelf. We've got the yellow chairs here. And then you can have the curved ends as well, which is really cool. So I think that'll be quite versatile. I love these chairs. They're, cozy and comfortable. In here, this is a bit more of like a private, quiet workspace. Got some toys here. It's not the official kids area, but you know, I feel like it suits kids upstairs as well. Beautiful work tables, so many great items. I mean, I had to use these colorful items because they came with all this color, so had fun with that. This is probably my favorite part of the library because we have the kids area to the right, and I just love this area. I love the new fencing, just so cute. So you can put your kids in here and it's just so bright and crazy. It just looks like an area kids really would have a lot of fun in. There's some toys there, craft table, play mat. These are the shelves with the kids' shapes on them, which also act as shelves individually. And I just love this craft corner. This is probably one of my favorite items as well. I love this. I'm going to use this so much. And I love the mobile too. So that is a pretty gorgeous area. And then we've got a chess table here. Let's go upstairs. This is another study nook. So there's going to be definitely computers around, hopefully. I think it's really helpful to see the floor plan in this space. There's a lot of just like common area to walk through. I think the routing should work really well here, with different staircases your Sims can use. Kids area, parents' room, toilets, chess table, lots of study nooks that you can see in red. The yellow reading area, and then the blue study room as well. So there you go. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this build. Thank you so much for your support and your love, and thank you to The Sims for giving me the opportunity to create this build. It is such an honor and a pleasure and a dream come true. I really appreciate it, and I hope I've done a good job and lots of players around the world will really enjoy using this library. I can't wait to see it in game. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the world, and I look forward to speaking to y'all soon. Dag dag!